I built a YouTube channel that generates over $500,000 a year in profit for my consulting business. And I did it all without lifestyle selling, fake results, or manipulation tactics. I'm creating this video out of pure frustration for what marketing in the info industry has turned into. It used to be a place for genuine education. Now it's a highlight reel of rented cars, short-term dopamine, and fake authority. Creators are teaching tactics that they don't even use, and they're leaving their viewers even more confused than before they watch their content. So I completely rebuilt the way I do YouTube from the ground up, and that's exactly how I created the ethical info marketing model. In this video, I'll be breaking down everything. How I built a YouTube marketing system that attracts high-ticket clients completely organically, create videos that sell without ever coming across as salesy, and have a single channel that replaces every traditional marketing funnel. Running your marketing ethically isn't just the right thing to do. It's the smartest, simplest, and most sustainable way to grow a long-term business. Okay, let's start with the decline of trust that's happening in the space. Trust used to be the foundation of the internet. You'd find someone teaching something useful and you'd believe them. You'd watch the video with your guard down. Because back then, everyday people with nothing to gain from their content were simply the only people posting online. But now, everyone has a course to sell you, and that completely changed the game. People now click on videos with skepticism, wondering what they're gonna try to sell them, what the catch is, and who's behind the content. And honestly, I get it. The education space has done this to itself. Creators have overpromised and underdelivered for so long that the default setting for most viewers is distrust. They've been burned by fake screenshots, rented cars, and recycled promises. And when that happens, it doesn't just hurt the creator, it hurts the entire industry. But here's the thing, this trust recession isn't a curse. In fact, it's an opportunity, because when no one believes anything anymore, the person who is authentic and tells the truth will stand out. This is the best time in history to be a creator that actually cares, because when the world stops trusting, truth becomes rare, and rare always wins. Okay, now let's dive into positioning. When I started my channel, I didn't try to be someone else. Instead, I actually ran this exercise that I think every single creator needs to do at least once in their career. I started by opening a blank document and writing down everything that makes me, me. I wrote that I've been obsessed with YouTube for the past 7 years, since I was 10 years old, that I left in-person high school because I wasn't a big fan of the traditional education system, and that I've always conducted business in a way that's built around my morals and values, coming from a religious background. And that list became my foundation. Most people online show a version of themselves that they think their viewers want to see. Flexing cars, rented lifestyles, and overblown achievements. But people can sense when someone's trying too hard to be perfect. And when someone comes across as trying to be seen as perfect, you start to wonder what they're hiding. And then, when they finally decide to pitch you something, you put your guard up. It's the same feeling you get when you're at an event and the person on stage gives you some value that doesn't really resonate with you, and then asks you to sign up for their program or buy whatever physical product they have to sell. You might listen, but you're gonna be extremely cautious. It's performative and it's polished, and you can obviously feel that they want something from you. Now compare that to getting coffee with someone who's just really good at what they do, and at some point during that conversation, they mention something that could genuinely benefit you. It doesn't feel like a pitch. It feels natural, like they came up with the idea on the spot. That's the foundation of running an ethical info business. Doing great work, staying grounded, and letting your results speak louder than your performance. And that's also why throughout my entire channel, I've been making more how I videos than I do how-to videos. How I built a consulting business, how I made 42K profit off of one YouTube video, and this video, how I built a 500K a year profit YouTube channel. I'm not trying to convince you to believe me. I'm just simply showing you what worked for me. How I gives proof, and how-to is you essentially asking them to trust you. When you start your channel, you don't need to look like an expert. You just need to sound like someone worth listening to, someone who's done what they're talking about. And people respect lived experience more than just theory, but you don't want to just overload them with information. Every video I create solves one small problem that my ideal client already feels. That's what pulls them into my ecosystem. And then once they realize that they can't solve this problem by just simply watching one 10-minute YouTube video, they move naturally towards the offer. Free content can solve the surface level problem, but the offer is essential to solve the deep root of it all. And that's why selling to your audience is actually the most ethical thing you can do. Because if you're not selling them a product, if you're not selling them access to you, then all you're giving them is surface level information. So that's ethical marketing. Results-based, natural, and honest. Now let's dive into quality. This is probably the section that has the most light bulb moments I've had recently. It's extremely important. Every YouTube video I make has to be able to stand on its own. If someone never buys from me, the channel itself still needs to help them. That's the goal, to make something that when the viewer's done watching, they think, whoa, that was actually worth my time. Instead of the common thought, which is, damn, that creator was only trying to get something out of me. You probably know that feeling when you're watching a video and then halfway through you realize the whole thing's a pitch. You feel off. You just want to get out of there instantly. And worse, you lose trust, not just in that one video, but with the entire creator. And that's why my videos have to deliver on their own. Because when something genuinely helps you, you do not forget who gave it to you. Okay, but what happens if you actually do that? You're trying to give away as much value as possible and genuinely transform your viewers. You're not using the whole video as a VSL to set up for a sales pitch, but rather to create genuinely authentic and valuable content. Yet, your videos are still underperforming. Well, I'll tell you this from experience. Most creators panic when a video underperforms. They open YouTube Studio, they see that the video is a 6 or a 7 out of 10, and they instantly think, I need to post more. I need to fix this. The way to fix this is by playing a numbers game, increasing volume. So as an emotional reaction to that panic, they go from posting maybe once or twice a week to posting every other day or even daily. But the problem there is that their quality drops rapidly. Their message becomes extremely blurred, and their channel as a whole just feels rushed and unstructured. And then reality hits them, and they realize that that extra volume doesn't solve the problem, that those daily uploads still don't get the traction that they were hoping for in the weekly uploads. And as a result of all of this mess, they get burnt out. They lose faith in the entire process, and eventually they just quit YouTube. It's the classic creator spiral, thinking that more outputs equals more opportunity, when in reality, it simply just kills creativity. But on the flip side, when you stay calm when a video underperforms and you lead with quality, you stop competing on volume and you start competing on depth. And that's exactly what great content does. It lasts longer, it builds trust over time, and it raises the standard for everything that comes after. And that's exactly why we focus on posting quality over quantity. I personally never upload a video until I watch it and I'm genuinely happy at the stage it's at. I'll delay deadlines just to make that video polished and pristine, because I know that the content that goes in your YouTube doesn't just last a day or two like short form. It's not something you just want to buy real quick and then throw it back in your wardrobe like a cheap piece of clothing. It's a pristine staple to your wardrobe. It's going to stick with you for the rest of your career on YouTube unless you delete it. So every video I put up online, I want to ensure is the best quality possible. Everything that your name is attached to should be done with the utmost effort, quality, and respect, because it all comes back to your reputation. And in the info industry, your reputation is everything. Here's another paradox when it comes down to quality. The less you try to sell in your videos, the more you do sell. Just think about the transparent tactics that every creator tries to pull on their viewers. They say things like, watch to the end because the last piece of value is the most important. But we all know that's just a retention hack. They say you have to opt into their program because the price is gonna double in the next day or two, but they'll probably just drop it down again. Viewers can tell when the motives shift from helping to harvesting, and that's exactly where trust dies. But when your content feels like a conversation instead of a commercial, people relax. Their guard drops. They start to listen, and once they're listening, they start believing. We live in an age where attention doesn't go to the person who's yelling the loudest, but rather the person who gives away the most value. And value in this space isn't just information, it's transformation, it's clarity. It's making the viewer feel smarter, calmer, and more confident after watching you. When you lead with value, you win trust. And when you have trust, you don't need pressure. You don't need urgency tactics or fake scarcity. You just need to keep showing up with intention. That's the backbone of content that lasts. Results-based, natural, and honest. Now let's talk feedback loops. One of the biggest reasons that my channel is able to generate over $500,000 a year in profit is because I don't guess or rely on luck. I use proven data and feedback to make informed decisions. And this is from real numbers and real conversations that we have from people that actually watch the videos. And the real secret isn't just taking those numbers and feedback from the conversations. Instead, it's how fast I act on them. And that's what I call keeping a tight feedback loop. Here's what that looks like. When we post a new video, I'm in daily contact with my business partner Hassan, who takes all the calls with potential partners or clients. And every time we notice a wave of unqualified leads coming in, we stop and we look at why. Was the title attracting the wrong person? Was the message too broad? Was the positioning possibly off by a few words? Then we tweak the next video slightly accordingly. Maybe the phrasing we use, maybe the structure of the script, maybe the idea of the video, and then we test again. And over time, these small refinements make every video sharper. Each video speaks more directly to the exact person we want to attract. It's like tuning a guitar. If you strum and it sounds wrong, you don't have the feedback and the data to just twist all the knobs and then strum it again and have it perfect. Instead, you have to pluck each string one by one and adjust accordingly until when you strum the whole thing, it sounds good. It's the same thing with YouTube. If you're not tedious with the data and the feedback coming in, then you're not going to know what to improve. So let's dig deeper into what data you should be looking at to actually improve the YouTube videos. The first and most important thing you can do is look at the 1 of 10 feature in YouTube Studio right after you upload. This shows you if a video is the best out of the last 10 or the worst out of the last 10, and then where in between it lies. If a video isn't performing, then you can adjust the title and thumbnail until it is. Of course, you can't adjust the content inside the video, but you can adjust the packaging. And at the end of the day, that's what's determining if you're getting clicks and if your video is performing well. So if you're starting out, I recommend you check every 24 hours. And if you already have an audience, let's say even just a few thousand followers, then you should be checking every 1 to 2 hours after upload. Of course, you would just do this for the first day. And then from there, you can probably go back to checking every 12 to 24 hours. After a week, the video should be fully optimized based on the data you've pulled, and the video should be inching up the 1 of 10 chart, ideally until it hits 1 of 10. And then from there, you should be comfortable enough to let it be. A larger audience means faster data, and data is what drives better decisions. But when you have a smaller audience, it takes more time for YouTube to get enough information to actually make informed decisions. So if you're smaller, then don't stress about the hourly changes. Just post, wait a day or two, and then adjust accordingly. Most creators see a video underperform and they just instantly label the entire thing as a failure, but they don't actually know why it failed. They just assume the whole thing was bad. But when you run with tight feedback loops, you aren't just looking at an underperformer and throwing your hands up saying, this is it, the video was bad, I failed. Instead, you break down why. Instead of blaming the whole thing, you're able to figure out exactly what needs improvement for the next video. Maybe the intro was dragged on for too long. Maybe there was no authority statement. Maybe your title didn't resonate with the thumbnail. With that level of detail, fixing a video becomes easy because you know exactly what to fix. YouTube is like anything in life. Small, consistent improvements lead to massive growth over time. James Clear said it best in Atomic Habits. If you can get 1% better each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you're done. And that's exactly how YouTube works too. Focus on improving just 1% every video. Your hook, your storytelling, your delivery. And before you know it, you'll be creating on a level that most people can't even comprehend. Just like you look at other creators and you can't put your finger on what they're doing better. It just feels right. You'll be able to get that exact quality and feeling from other viewers on your own content too. Tight feedback loops completely flip the game. They turn every upload into a data point, every mistake into a lesson, and every improvement into momentum. If you're not looking back at videos from 6 months ago and just thinking to yourself, what the hell was I doing? Then you're not learning fast enough. You're not iterating fast enough. Every top creator I know obsesses over feedback. Mr. Beast, for example, he goes on walks pretty much every day. He scrolls through his contact list blindly. He picks a random name and he calls that person just to ask them what they've learned from YouTube recently. Cody Sanchez still studies email copy, and I still watch at least 1 YouTube education video a day and take notes, because the second you stop learning is the second you start falling behind. I mean, just look at this. Even the creators who are at the top of their game are still trying to learn and improve every single day. So what makes you think you already know enough to stop learning, to stop obsessing over the game of improvement when you're currently struggling to get more clients? Get out there and start proactively learning. That's the real advantage of a tight feedback loop. You're never guessing and you're always evolving. Okay, now let me show you what this looks like in action. One of my good friends and clients, Leo, runs a YouTube channel called Learn by Leo. He's one of the best examples of what happens when you truly give without asking for anything in return. Leo didn't sell a dream lifestyle, he didn't post every day, and he didn't use cheap manipulation tactics to try to juice his audience of cash. He just shared what he knew out of passion for over a year. Every video he made was packed with value, and he only has 6 on his entire channel. One of them even hitting over 4 million views. But the real story isn't the views, it's the leverage those videos created. He built an audience that trusts him so much that every single upload drives an immense amount of opportunity. And here's the best part. We're now partnering back up with Leo again to help him scale that value. Of course, I'm not going to share any of the details, but we're building something even bigger than the YouTube channel, something that lets him give even more, the kind of depth that you can't simply fit into a 15-minute YouTube video. And that's the difference between manipulation and proper meaning. Most people create offers to squeeze their audience of cash, but we're creating an offer to expand on the value that Leo has to give. Now, to be very clear here, you don't have to get millions of views or wait over a year of posting before getting clients in a return. You can and should monetize from the very first video, not by selling hard, but by helping the right people. Leo is more so an example of the power of YouTube and giving for free. He's an extreme version of this idea of giving without asking for anything in return. And it shows that your goal here isn't to go viral, and it's not to simply just create this conversion mechanism. It's to create something that stands on its own, a YouTube channel that transforms viewers. Even if they never buy anything from you. Because when you do that, opportunity just naturally finds you. And that's exactly what happened to Leo. He gave relentlessly, asking for nothing. And now he has leverage that most creators can never reach in their career. The kind that lets him choose how to grow, not if he can grow. And that's the power of the ethical info marketing method. When you lead with generosity, the rewards follow. Not because you chase them, but because you actually earned them. Now, let's touch on this sad area where everyone gets wrong with this model. But also, if you want to work directly with me and my business partner to help scale your YouTube channel and refine your offer, applying every single thing we have and will continue to talk about in this video, so you can get more clients, have a thriving business, and become the go-to authority in your niche. And you can schedule a time to chat with me or my business partner with the top link in the description. This is a free consultation. There's no hard pitch on this one. It's a genuine chat. So check it out. Okay, so a lot of people think that if they give away too much value, then no one's gonna wanna buy. But that can't be further from the truth. People don't pay for information anymore. If they need general information, they'll just go to ChatGPT or watch a YouTube tutorial. They pay for implementation, for speed, for clarity, for personal guidance from the exact creator they were watching online. You can give away every single thing you know for free, and people will still be lining up to work with you because information isn't scarce anymore. Trust is. And when you give freely, you attract serious people, the ones who value learning and execution. When you hold back, you attract people who are looking for shortcuts. So the right question isn't what should I hide and what should I show? It's how much value can I give without it seeming like I'm just trying to get something back. And that mindset alone separates the ethical marketers from everyone else. I don't have to say it, but I'll be completely honest. The industry we're in is not in a great place right now. You see people manipulating their viewers, pressuring them into buying, and then giving them nothing of real substance after they do. But it doesn't have to be that way. Online education is the future, and it's our responsibility to set the standard of quality and impact. I truly believe there will come a time where YouTube is the catalyst for education and even brand awareness. And we already can see that shift happening in real time. But until then, let's keep giving, because if there's one lesson I learned this year, it's that the greatest rewards come to those who give the most without expecting anything in return.